Oh, yeah.
Sure.
You know, this is legal.
All right.
We don't have a picture, but,
I will, you work to go on doing folks and consider them part of the comments on this. I'll explain, you guys just kind of.
yeah, just the process.
Yep. What we're looking at.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you. You look great. Do you want to donate?
Don't want to be on camera.
Good, how are you?
That one year mortality.
And get us. We're gonna be getting sorry now.
Everybody else jumped in too.
Just to give you a heads up, petitions are gonna be one of our business features.
Great.
Send our list of some people.
How are you
For our
feeling?
step for our articles.
Doing better?
Sometimes just people.
I hope so.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you think we leave to go back to school, is that correct?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Is Carla gonna continue to do this, or?
She is. I gave her all
Hi,
the
how are you? Good.
login
How are you
information
doing?
stuff. And
Good. Okay, now I can say to you, welcome.
at the very least,
There we go.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect,
Yeah.
good, I was worried it might stop after you left.
Yeah, no, it was originally her idea, so I think she'll just go down and see her.
Wendy, the new legal secretary?
She is.
And when did she start?
I want to say right around the middle or end of June.
Okay.
So she's been working for 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I actually think she might step away. Regardless, we'll keep up with her.
Okay, great, okay, thanks.
I knew you were going to be better than last That's me.
Yeah, okay. Levi, look out. See, everybody knows Levi. Thank you.
Are you the chair of the meeting?
No.
Who is?
County commissioner.
Friday or Saturday?
No, Laura, she is.
She's.
I know, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's okay.
I don't know if you signed this all the time or not.
No, I sure haven't. I'll sign it right now.
Drink your service.
Silent sheet here.
Absolutely. And, with.
This is good.
Yes.
No, I think that gentleman hasn't signed it yet, so.
And so I got your name.
Yes, absolutely.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming. On a weekday, it's the middle of the day, it really does not good to see so many turn out. I'm Elaine Gravely, I'm the chairman. Laura Ober is also a commissioner, and I don't believe Franklin is here. I don't see him. But you know, just so that we all know who's who, we're going to do something a little different and ask you to go around the room and introduce yourself. Okay, we'll start right here. Bart Vaughn.
Rick Beal.
Jake Yerger.
Dwayne Hole.
Deborah Brown.
Regina Peterson.
John Wheeler.
Cheryl Campbell.
Ken Travis. Gene Belgard.
Martha Clark.
Alan Brewer.
Beth Ackles.
Y'all ain't that faster.
Mark Templin.
Jackie Deming.
Trudy Southwick.
Cassie Cooper.
I hope we didn't forget somebody. Well, like I say, welcome. We're really glad you're here. We also have Lee Alt with Department of Transportation, and he's going to talk to us this morning, so I'm going to turn it over to Lee.
My name's Lee Alt. I'm the Butte District Traffic Engineer from the Highway Department out of Butte. I guess I came here at Jeff's request and Laura's to kind of talk to you folks on speed limits, how we do them, what's the process and everything else. The first process that we have to go through on it is we have to have a request. The only way we can look at a speed zone in Montana is to have a request from the county commissioners. And have you guys requested the study yet or not?
We're going to.
Okay, they need to send us a letter requesting an engineering study be performed. The only, I guess I should start before that. The only way a speed limit in the state of Montana can be changed is by an engineering study being done, and then the Transportation Commission has to act on that. That's the only way. We don't have in the counties, nobody has the authority to go out and change a speed limit to suit their own will. The only ones that can really enact a speed limit are the Transportation Commission in Helena. What we do, we're required to get a request from the county commissioners, a local governing agency, on the areas that they want us to look at. Once we get that letter, we'll go out and do an engineering study. What goes into the engineering study is we look at the crashes, the accidents for the last 5 to 10 years, types of accidents, what kind we're having, if there's something else going on here outside of speed. We look at the conditions of the road, what the road's like. We look at any areas that might be tough, like quarter circle, won't be in it, but it'll be on the fringes of it. Filson Quarter Circle Road. We look at the average daily traffic, the roadside culture. We look at all these things. And the main thing we look at is we do an engineering study, usually 24-hour counts with tubes, not radar, but tubes, things like this, so we can get a representative sample of the speeds. And we try to go with what's called the 75th percentile of speed. That means the people we're targeting for enforcement are the people that are, we consider 85% of the people driving on the road reasonable and prudent drivers, most of the people. It's that 15% that won't or can't, for some reason, obey the speed limits that we really want to target for enforcement. And they're the ones, and this isn't just a Montana thing, this is all 50 states nationwide. We had a guy from Chicago, from Northwestern Traffic Institute, come in and audit our procedures a couple of times in the last 10 or 15 years. And we're doing the same thing as every other state in the union. This is basically the best and most comprehensive way of looking at speed zones. So what we'll do is when we get the letter from these folks, we'll schedule the speed zone study, we'll go out and do it, then we'll start looking at accidents and things like that. Hopefully we can get this processed fairly quickly. Now, one of the things we'll do, as soon as we get the engineering study completed and done, I will send it in to Elaine and Laura saying the speed zone is complete, this is what our findings are. Please get your comments into us. If you have comments, get them into us, and what I'll do is I'm going to send these petition letters that you folks have signed in, and I'll send them in right now and make sure that they're added as part of the comments that go into the Transportation Commission after the study's done. Once we get the comments from the commission, and if they have some objections or they don't like the way it looks, we'll come back in and we'll set up another meeting like this where we can sit down with you folks and discuss the findings and get your input into it and your comments to send into the Transportation Commission. Once that's done, we send our recommendations, you guys' questions, recommendations, or concurrence, whatever we get. That all goes into the Transportation Commission, put on their agenda, and then they have a meeting on it to decide what they're going to do with the speed zone. So you guys will have plenty of input into this whole process. Once we get the study done, once we go from there, you guys will have plenty of input into this process, whoever wants to attend these meetings, and we are going to probably rely on Elaine and Laura and the commissioners to set them up. So, is there any questions? Is there anything I can answer for you folks?
I have questions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I quite understand. You keep talking about a speed zone.
Mhm.
So are they checking for just the speed that's coming through here
No.
and the accidents?
Well, we're checking speed, accidents, the average daily traffic, which is what, you know, the total volume of traffic going through here, any conflict points we may have, you know, maybe our passing zones, no passing zones are off. Maybe one of these intersections isn't kind of the best intersection we'd like to see. So we'll look at all the roadside features through here, the town, the proximity, the crossings, the school crossing out here and things like that. We'll look at all that stuff and put it together for the
Because
study.
some of the safety stuff, one was the school, but the other thing, because I work here in the bar,
Mhm.
and the other thing I noticed is people don't want to come to the stop sign up here where they can make a right-hand turn to come down to White Earth.
Mhm.
So what they do is they fly through our parking lot. Because it's easier to do just like an off-ramp versus stop and turn. And I'm just, it's stuff like that, because that's very dangerous out here when you have people walking across the parking lot.
Okay.
And they do that all times of the day.
And that's comments we can take into consideration. You bet. Yes?
Is there also consideration for the fact that traffic December, January, February is about a half, maybe
Half
a
of what it
third
is.
of what it is right now?
Right, right. Yeah, and we understand that. Like I said, we look at the traffic patterns and volumes and things like that. Yeah, this is the high time of year for this area. So, yep. Yes.
One thing I've noticed, the passing lane was put at the bottom of the hill for semis. And what I've noticed is you can count up to 10 to 15 cars behind the semi.
I mean, coming this way.
Coming this way.
Yeah.
See, the passing lane, yeah, I don't know why they put the passing lane at the bottom of the hill instead of the top of the hill.
Yeah.
I think they made a mistake. So anyway, you have all these disgruntled drivers behind this semi that's doing 45 miles an hour, and once they get to Winston, they're ready to step on the gas and go.
Yeah, I understand, and it turns into a drag strip. So you got 8 cars trying to pass. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And you know, maybe we can limit passing of these semis on that 3-lane section to you know, just have them line up and get behind each other and eliminate the passing altogether for semis. That's something I've looked at. We have that problem, you know, Homestake Pass, Bozeman Hill, it's all like that. It's just, you know, you get 2 semis passing each other and they chew up the whole passing lane and then turns into a drag strip at the end. We'll take a look at that too.
Lee, I have a question.
Okay.
When you're done with your notes.
Oh, you're good to go.
All right. So now that the citizens have, I think, pretty clearly, based on the petition and the presence here, said, we want this study, we can get this letter done immediately.
Just send it to me, and my address is on there. You can even email me a letter if you want to. It doesn't have to be a hard copy, however you want to do it.
And we could have that too, I'm going to imagine, by this afternoon.
Great.
How quickly would the speed study?
Well, we've got what's called an investigations unit in Helen. It's made up of 3 people, and they do all basically the speed zone engineering studies across the state. And it depends on where their docket is. Now, I talked to them a couple weeks ago, and I think it's fairly clean. Hopefully, there's not too many studies on the dock, so we can get at least some of the data acquired this year. I would like to get, you know, I'd like to do it in the middle of spring and summer when it's the majority of the traffic. But we'll see what we can get this year, see what we come up with. If we think we've got to go farther, we will. If we don't, if we think we got a good representative sample, we'll go with that. But that'll all come out in the study too.
And how long does the full process last, generally?
You know, it can go from, you know, as soon as the investigations folks pick up their data. Usually it's a couple of weeks after that when they put together the study and get it to me. I take a look at it and get it to you folks, and then we get your comments and it comes back. So that could be fairly fast, a few months. Some of them have taken half a year. But, you know, I don't anticipate this taking that long. Having said that, we don't know what we're going to run into. But hopefully it'll be fairly quick.
Do we have to have public hearings on it?
No, you don't. No. But I would recommend that when the study's completed and we send it in to you guys, that you take a look at it and maybe have your own meeting with your folks, discuss it, see if anybody's got any heartburn or anything with it or anything they want to bring up. and then get a hold of me. You know, we usually get a 60-day waiting period after I send the study to these folks. And then have a meeting with me or whoever wants to come down and meet with you on it, and we can do it that way. So then we can get all the comments together and put them together in one pack. Yes?
How does, one, the commission, you determine what the area of study is? I mean, you've pointed out the problem after the 2-lane, there's a problem here, there's a problem at the dump, the recycling center, there's a problem at Filson.
You know, we're not gonna do a system-wide speed zone. That would be almost up to the legislature to do, from Three Forks to Hamilton. That's something we're not gonna do. We're gonna take a look at spot locations where we think there's problems, where you folks bring the problems to us and we'll do them. So we'll probably take Winston and we'll probably take it 1,000, 2,000 feet both directions from town and look at this area. Once we get done with that, we'll see what the impacts are on the system down below and the system up above and see if we do need to do more. But right now, we'll probably take a look at just this area through here. Then if we see some more problems, or if you guys do, we can go ahead and look at it. Yes?
As a Winston resident, I can clearly see that the passing motorists coming through our town don't appear to recognize this as a living, breathing, working community. They seem to just be flying through, and I've seen it many times. My wife, she goes to Helena every morning, and she tells me at least once a week of an incident where she turns, we're living across the street, where she turns into the highway, and there's no bulk of cars bunching up. It's just, for instance, single vehicles coming up. And they seem to have the impression that we need to instantly hit 70 or better miles an hour.
Yeah.
So what the point that my wife's been making, at least, like I said, once a week, that people refuse to slow down for merging traffic. They seem to feel that they own the road. And on occasion, she says that actually she has noticed, and when I've been with her, I've observed the same, that they appear to be actually speeding up to intimidate her. I don't know if it's a woman. I've talked to some of my female neighbors with longer hair that appears that, well, it's a fact that some drivers look for females that they feel they can intimidate, and they get very close on their bumper and ride them out all the way to Filson Road. And in fact,
that's an enforcement issue. That's something that the speed limit is not going to deal with. You know, one of the problem you're talking about, I understand exactly what you're saying is, you're coming down the road, you see an approach on the side, and somebody's sitting there, whether it's female or male, and you figure, I better get past this guy so I don't have to trail him another 2,000 or 3,000 feet down the road while he's accelerating up to 70. So I'm going to speed up, I'm going to get past him, and then he can get in behind me and whatever he wants to do. And I think that's a perception that a lot of people have when they drive.
But it's an ongoing occurrence.
Yeah, and it's not here, it's everywhere. It's a situation that, you know, it's almost more of an enforcement issue on something like that than it is a signing issue. I don't know, you know, I don't know how we'd sign for something like that. It's almost to the point where the police have to see it and respond to it. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And we will try to look at these things in our study to see if it's something that we can quantify. If we're having problems out here with this approach, maybe we've got too many cars turning, maybe we've got a bad turn, and we'll take a look at that too. Yes?
Yeah, when they do their study, can that affect what we're asking for? As far as, okay, if they find out it's way worse than 55, could they enforce a 45?
Yeah, our study will tell us what we think should be the proper speed limit for this area.
Okay.
Based on what people are driving, based on the conditions, the curvature, things like that. Yeah, our speed limit, our recommendations on our speed will be made based on those variables.
Rather than on the petition.
Yeah, oh, no, well, no, the petition's gonna have part of it. The petition is gonna be part of the comments that go in, and the commission basically takes them and everything else that comes in about the same light. So your petition, absolutely, it means a lot. You bet.
Because I kind of figured it should have said 45.
Well, you know, it's, excuse me. Part of the reasons I came down here to mention it to you was that I don't know what the speed's gonna be. We're not gonna set it at what we think it should be.
Right.
We're gonna set it at what our engineering judgment shows us is gonna be the best speed. And then after that, we're gonna take all you folks' comments, and so I couldn't tell you what it's gonna end up being.
Right.
Because it's gonna take into account all the vehicles going down the road and what speed they're traveling.
Sure.
So you're gonna have guys going 75, you're gonna have guys going 25. So it's all gonna be averaged out in there to see what's going on.
Yeah, and I was wondering about like a left turn lane too, because like coming from Helena, if you have to turn in, the people are coming up behind you at 70 miles an hour. And then also if you're coming from Townsend and you're going over into Winston, you guys don't have a turn lane, right?
No.
So you're stopped and they're
You're
coming
just
at
stopped
70.
there, somebody over there.
And you look in your rearview mirror with a prayer.
Left turn lanes are kind of a different animal.
Right.
I'll make mention of it here. We'll
Because
take
there's
a
some
look
big
at the
RVs
amount of
full
left
of
turns.
boats,
Yeah.
you know.
We've got so much money and we've got so many places where left turn
I
lanes.
just thought I'd throw it in there.
Well, no, absolutely. This is something we'll look at. And we
That's
always
what
look
our
at left
parking
turns.
lot's for, Sandy.
Left turns.
That's one of the turn lanes, is this parking lot.
Yeah,
That's why
left,
they come through the parking lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Left
I use
turners
mine too.
are a definite big time problem on highways.
Yeah.
And we will look at it to see if there's something that does need to be done immediately. Yes, yeah.
In your criteria, you're only gonna use 5 years worth of accidents, because I'm one that got hit turning off to come get my mail.
Well, we can go back
I'm
to
too.
It's gonna depend on what they want to do on it. Yeah, yeah.
It is a deadly turn.
We can take a look at it.
There's even been children hit here at
Okay.
Crosswalk.
the school bus.
The school bus stops here to unload the kids, and you know what, they're not gonna wait for those kids to get across that crosswalk, they'll run them down first.
Well, no, when you can't even see it because they're doing 70.
Okay, we will take a look at 10 years. Yes.
Lee, with the comments on the accidents, those would be best handled with letters accompanying the petition through the public comment period, right? People's personal stories.
Yeah, if you want to include those, that'd be fine, yes. We've got the accident data. We go through the highway patrol's accident, and the county is required to turn in their accidents to highway patrol too. So we've got all the accident data, you know, what was the cause and everything else. But yeah, if you guys want to send some letters in, when I send the study back to you and we put that together, then we're going to ask for comments then too. So any
Okay.
comments you folks want to make will be appreciated.
And personal stories at that point would hold
Yeah.
some weight as well. So that would be important to hear from you guys on that.
Yes.
Has there ever been any type of study done in this area?
You know,
In the past 5 or 10 years?
we do what's called a high accident location run every year on the state computer system. And look at, and it evaluates crash locations, it evaluates areas that are susceptible to high crash areas, things like that, and we go through and run, and then we winnow them out to make sure we find the ones that are accurate, and then we go through and we look at them in each one of the districts in the state. We go out and review them and see what we can do, and I don't think this has ever come up, that I remember, it never has come up with as a high accident location. But that's something we also will look at, we'll review that to make sure it hasn't, and then we'll come up with what the accident rate is out here compared to the rest of the state. We have a statewide average that we compare accident rates to. So,
Do you know what that,
you know, offhand, I don't. There's an accident and a severity rate. So the accident rate tells you basically where you're at statewide with accidents. The severity rate tells you what's going on with the severity of the accidents. If they're just property damage only accidents, if we're having a lot of injuries and fatalities.
You got, I go to the dump every day. When I come in here and there's, I stop at the stop sign, I'm gonna take a right turn. You got the other ones coming from the other way. And, you know, the road is actually clear. So when you make the right turn and you're just about ready and here comes a goddamn car and he's over and you're, oh, coming head on. If the guy is not on the ball, I've had a couple people hit me, so I'm maybe a little bit more alert than,
Is that a passing zone or a no passing zone?
no, that's the double line over here.
And they're coming across the double line?
They're coming in, yeah, they're coming in the traffic that's,
Make a
yeah.
difference.
And I'm clear to go to the right,
Mhm.
but here comes this car and he's
in your, he's
he's in
coming
my,
towards you, you're
I
right,
mean,
yeah.
maybe there's something could be done about that, I don't know, but the only.
You know,
thing
that's another enforcement
Yeah.
issue. I mean, the signs are only gonna do so much in the
Yeah.
striping, but yeah, they're making an illegal movement, which doesn't mean a lot to you if you end up getting killed over it.
Well,
but
that's
yeah.
exactly right, yeah.
Well, if they had to drive slower.
Well, if,
Well-
that would help.
Okay. Yeah, well, maybe, you know, it also may
Yeah,
slow a lot
maybe.
more people down, and people get more frustrated, and more people are gonna try and pass, so, you know, these are things we need to weigh when we're looking at this study. Yeah.
I have a question. Is there extra federal money that is available for protection for the school bus stops?
We're pretty, well, not that I know of. You know, the school district may have access to something like that that I don't know about, but no,
No federal money
No.
for,
no. And then maybe through the school bus system and stuff like that, it could be. We don't get involved in that, so I don't know. But you might talk to the local school board and see if there's something out there that they could help you with. Yes, sir.
Is there any way to reduce semi-traffic, and in particular, I'm talking about the Canadians that don't feel like they want to go down to around Boulder and hit the interstate, they want to cut through here, that we can reduce it to local only or deliveries or whatnot?
You know, we kind of got into that argument 5 or 6 years ago. We had to shut semi-traffic off through Yellowstone Park while we were working on some areas down there around Big Sky. We shut it down to local deliveries only. And we got into some real hassles over that. The reason why is trucks, as long as they're legally licensed and as long as they're hauling a legal weight load, our road user payers the same as everybody else, and for us to try and eliminate semi-traffic could be I don't think we can do it. It'd take a federal legislative action, and it'd probably end up being a nationwide problem. And I just don't think we can get into that. But we did try it once, and it's to no avail, unless there's a construction zone going on where we have to, you know, if we're building this section through here, we had to cut down to too narrow, we could eliminate wide loads for however long the construction's going on. That's about the only way we've eliminated wide loads. So, sure.
I watched your eyes when that logging truck blasted through here a few seconds ago, with reference to the lady who mentioned school zones.
Mm-hmm.
When that school bus drops off kids here, it's kind of a regional drop-off.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If one of those kids, out of sheer exuberance, runs across the highway, try and imagine how that logging truck would have tried to stop.
Mhm.
There's not a chance in hell.
I understand that,
He's
but
gonna plow.
But there's some things there's a lot of things that go into speed zones. And one of them is, when you reduce the speed limit, doesn't necessarily make it safer. You know, we're trying to get traffic to go down the road at approximately the same speed, which means there's separation, there's areas there where people are in their comfort zone. If you try to artificially slow speeds down, some people will comply, some people won't comply. You're gonna have slow-moving traffic here, you're gonna have fast-moving traffic here. This guy can't stop, he's gonna either rear-end somebody, or he's gonna have to pull out and go around them. And, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that go into these engineering and speed zone studies that we try to look at. So sometimes slowing traffic down isn't for the best if traffic is going faster and you try to slow them down. Sometimes you can get them out of there quicker. I mean, these are things that we have to weigh. You know, because slowing down traffic does have its impacts. You know, one of the things we found is when we put a traffic signal in, it reduces generally the amount of accidents, severe accidents, T-bones, head-ons, things like that. The incident of rear-end accidents generally goes up, but they're considered a little less severe accident than the other types. Well, you know, with pedestrians, with kids, there's no less severe accident than people. You know, they're all bad. So,
Well, even with the best of will, that log truck driver couldn't have stopped.
I understand, yeah. Yes,
But out there in Elliston going out towards Missoula, on the highway there, they have a 45-mile-an-hour zone in there. Have they had a lot of problems, or have they been solved? Because that's been there for quite a few years.
well, I haven't, I've heard some people complain that people go through there too fast, and, I haven't seen it, I haven't looked at it. Yeah, they're down to 45 through there. That's a question I can't answer because we don't have a lot of complaints on Elliston. So as far as I know, it's working okay. You might get a different opinion from the folks that live in Elliston, I don't know. I haven't talked to any of them really, and we haven't had any complaints yet, so. But that's something that I can't talk on. Yes?
Will you do a study on people who try to walk across this highway out here?
Well, part of the study's gonna be, we'll have people out here, and they will be looking at pedestrian traffic. Probably we're gonna get it, I'd like to at least get part of the study done during school, so that we can see what's going on with the school bus and kids crossing. And now, that's one of the things I want to make part of the study is school crossings. And looking at the school bus, see how it behaves, how it acts, how the kids behave when they get off the bus.
Well, we have a crosswalk out there, but no one stops for it.
No,
I've been here for 10 years, 10 and a half years, and I had only one truck stop for me.
well, and there again,
He stopped because he knew me, didn't want to run over him. Oh,
and there again, that's another issue where maybe we need to get the police involved. I would patrol these guys. Come out here when the bus stops, once in a while, check it, make sure people are stopping. If they're not, maybe fine them.
Well, the bus is in the parking lot, so the
Well,
highway traffic doesn't have.
No,
It's only-
but still, if
It's
you've
only
got,
the
if
parking
you've
lot
got
going this
kids-
way. When it comes the other way,
Yeah.
it stops out on the
And,
road.
and if you have kids crossing in a crosswalk, there's no excuse for not stopping. I mean, we've got enough sight distance so you can see people in that crosswalk a long way away.
So when you're doing 70 though, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I'm guessing Larry has a lot of input for you on that. Is
Who's that?
he's Larry, the bus driver?
Yeah, he's probably got a lot of pretty good information on it.
Because I would go get license plate numbers for him, he knew I'd go do it.
Sure.
A good letter of support to Larry, again, personal stories.
I think the sheriff might be a good place to discuss things too. Ask him what he thinks.
To her.
He's out here all the time.
No,
It's her.
no, they don't come up this way too much.
Maybe
you don't
that's
listen to my scanner.
something you need to work on.
Yeah, they're out here.
They're out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're quite
Yeah,
bad.
I know that I would patrol
They're
works.
quite bad.
You see how we patrol cars.
Larry is a very, very good friend of one of the LPs here,
Mhm.
and he has been known to follow that bus because people don't want to stop even for the red flashing lights. And so I know that he has.
Yeah, and that's what we
worked
need,
this out.
that's what you need is people getting a little reminder that they're not paying attention. That's the best deterrent. Signs work, the signs you can put them up, but if there's not enforcement and people aren't thinking about it, then nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, people have to look at it,
Right.
and they have to react to it.
Exactly.
Get another old cop car and sit up there by the corner.
Yes.
We have another problem with the ramp coming over the tracks here in the wintertime.
Oh, the approach?
Everything is iced down or slick with snow. You can't stop sometimes, though you're going slow. A lot of times you're slow. A lot of times I'm out on the highway before I can get that thing stopped.
Yeah, slide right through the stop sign into the, yeah. I guess that's something maybe us or the county needs to look at, do a little better job maintaining the approach. We don't do them, we don't do approaches, but it's something possibly you guys can handle that more.
Yeah.
And that's not to say we can't help. That's not to say that if we get out there first before you guys do, we can't hit the approach and clean it off.
The slower speed limit there would help the situation considerably. Both from the bar and the store here as well. With that traffic moving that fast, right?
Now, that's another area we kind of get into too, is winter weather and wet weather. Our speed zones, and this isn't just Montana, it's everywhere, are based on bare and dry conditions, ideal conditions to drive. A driver is required, and that I know of from all state laws in the country, to always be in control of his vehicle, and if it's inclement weather, he is required by law to slow down and pay attention to what's going on the driving surface. So our studies are based on bare and dry weather. So that's basically where we're coming at. And we can't predict what kind of a winter we're going to have, or where it's going to ice up, or things like that. So the law requires that the driver be in control of his vehicle at all times, depending on the conditions. Is there anything else I can help you folks with? Yes, you bet.
Is this the same process to slow down the traffic going up through, Weasel Creek Road? That's become kind of a racetrack. Do we need to get a whole group of people together to slow down?
Now, where's this at?
Just straight up over the tracks and up.
That's a county road, that's not on our system, we do.
You could include it in this.
No, no, that's something the county will probably have to deal with.
They should have the cops come out.
No, we have one living above there. I thought that would do the job.
Yeah, you think so.
Let's put in a great big old culvert or something. We have to slow down.
That is a little bit of an easier process, actually. On a county road, all you guys have to do is sign a petition. We will have a public hearing. Come in and let us know that you want the speed limit changed, and we can do that.
And enforced. 'Cause
Well,
nobody
yeah,
has to.
it's fine. 35 is fine, it just needs enforced.
And that would be one of those, call the sheriff directly and report everything that you see so that they're aware of it. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, be that squeak that finally gets the oil.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they don't want to pick up their phone.
Right. Oh, it's Winston again. We better get out there and take care of it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some good comments from you folks we'll look at, and like I say, we'll get this study done. You know, it's kind of, I would much rather have kids involved in it than not, so I'm gonna probably try and get them to do it after school starts, till the school bus gets settled in, so we can see what's going on with these kids in the school bus too. We may be able to help the school district a little bit on what they're doing too, I don't know, but we'll sure take a look at that. But if you have any questions, any comments, feel free. Laura and Elaine have my phone number, my card. You can get a hold of me anytime in view. Email, anything like that you guys need. Like I say, once the study's done, we'll get it to the commissioners, and then they can set up some kind of a date, go over it, check with you folks, and if you got any questions, we can set up another meeting like this. Come down, take your comments, run them in. I mean, you know, we're not limited to one meeting. If we want to have 2 meetings, we can do it. You know, this is a public, private intercourse that we need to have so we can get this straightened out and make sure we do the right thing. But yeah, you guys will have much more chance of input when we get the study done. So I appreciate the input.
I have one more question for you, Lee. It's the same topic, but a little bit different. There's a lot of talk about the safety issues of people driving out, the kids crossing. We all know that in the winter, this country gets pretty dark for a lot of the day. Jack, is there a white light, not a traffic light, a stop, red and yellow, an illuminator?
Nothing.
I understand that we could request that, and you guys will install it if we pay the electric bill?
After you approach coming in from Winston, yeah, give me a letter on that, separate letter on it, we'll take a look at that.
If you folks want that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably a very good idea for that intersection. Yeah.
It's hard to see the street light when you gotta turn.
Absolutely.
Right in.
Yeah,
Just put an illumination light.
just a luminaire, overhead luminaire that lights up the intersection.
We used to have a caution light down here, but some.
That's coming, we're gonna get that. Somebody wipe that out, so we're gonna get another one in here.
Well, and I'm probably the one that's around here the latest at night, so yeah, there's nothing out there.
Yeah, give me a letter on that, Laura, and we'll take a look at that, see if we can get something.
I'll get this afternoon. In fact, if I may, Madam Chair, I move that we submit a letter on behalf of the folks of Winston to start the process for a traffic study, and a second letter asking for an illumination.
For us to look at the illumination, the approach to the highway from this.
Yes.
Or would a flashing light be appropriate to put on your letter request for illumination light? At least it would make people that, there's signs up, but as has been pointed out, it doesn't matter if the speed limit's 10 miles an hour. If nobody looks at it and pays attention to it, or they're talking to their wife or screaming at their children in the back seat, would a flashing light in this area help? And would it be appropriate to put it in a request?
We'd have to look at a flashing light. That'd be something else that we'd have to take a look at.
So that's a different issue.
That's a whole different issue,
Okay.
yeah.
Would something like that come up in the study though?
If they see a need for something like that, yeah, they'd include in the study. You bet.
Is that something it'd be wise for us to include in the letter with the study? Just a sentence?
Well,
at this
I mean,
point?
what would you want the flashing light on? We wouldn't do it on the speed limit signs.
No, I mean, just, you'll see in different areas, caution signs that have flashing lights to indicate there is an intersection here. And at least they would be maybe looking for children crossing, help them.
You could add that on that second letter about the luminaire. Add that as a flashing light for that three-way intersection there. We could take a look at that, sure.
Okay.
Sure. I can't guarantee anything on it because it's really not a high accident location. And we usually save some of the higher end devices for high accident locations, but we'll be glad to take a look at it.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
All right.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
I'm going to second your motion. It's moved and seconded. You sent 2 letters to the DOT. One of them requesting a study on speed limits through Winston. And the other one, a letter requesting caution lights, illuminated and flashing caution lights. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I'll send you an email back when I get your email to let me know that we send you in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we'll have that to you this afternoon.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Thanks for the meeting. I appreciate coming out and getting calls from you folks before things turn bad.
Yeah. Well, we've learned that rabble rousers are the ones that take the attention.
It's true, isn't it?
It is.
I think school starts in just like a week or two, doesn't it?
Zero. I'll just say I don't really need to get your phone.
Okay. He'll have that.
You didn't sign that.
Yeah. Okay, well,
We got a list of us here. Thank you very much.
thanks for the call. And like I say, we're here anytime. Give me a call, and ask Ebert or any of us a call, we're at the same point.
What's going on?
We were just talking about that, I think the only thing hold up we've got on Court Street is, we've got right issues. Signs pretty much.
My house.
Where I think we're at. I'm also have somebody call and talk. Yeah, because I don't deal with construction, signing stuff like that goes by, I don't deal with what we're doing for construction or coming in with construction, I can find you something that's a little better in tune. In fact, I might just have to give you a call, email someday, let you know what's happening. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Drive safely.
I will.
No, ALT. Yeah. Yeah. He's familiar.
Any preference?